Hey everyone. Ever just get totally sucked into a movie, completely lost in this story?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, today we're going to do a deep dive into the world of cinema, inspired by a podcast we found called Movie, Fluent English Podcast.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be super interesting because we're going to explore how movies have become this huge force in our lives, from those old school flickering images to the crazy blockbusters we see today.
It's amazing how much movies have changed over the years.
Yeah.
But even from the very beginning, they had this power to just completely transport audiences.
For sure.
Like all those early silent films.
Right.
Short, black and white, the ones created by, pioneers like Thomas Edison and the Lumiere brothers. Those guys really changed how stories were told forever.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what it must have been like back then, seeing those moving images for the first time.
Oh, it must have been mind-blowing.
Totally. Like witnessing magic for the first time.
Right.
Speaking of magical moments, we can't forget about the golden age of Hollywood.
Oh, absolutely. The golden age, like the 1920s to the 1960s. That was when Hollywood studios became like the center of the film universe.
Yeah.
And honestly, their legacy still inspires filmmakers today,
Yeah, it's fascinating to see how those classic films from that era, like Gone with the Wind, Casablanca, or even Citizen Kane, how they still resonate with viewers today.
Oh, for sure. They're more than just entertainment. They're like cultural touchstones.
Totally.
Those films, they weren't just passively consumed back then. They actually actively shaped fashion, influenced dialogue, and even impacted societal values.
It's crazy to think about.
It is, but there's this whole other level to appreciating movies, something that a lot of people don't realize.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like this hidden language that filmmakers use.
Like a secret code.
Yeah, exactly, to bring their stories to life.
So you're saying there are all these hidden meanings and techniques that most of us miss when watching a movie?
Yes, and once you understand them, it can totally change how you experience a film.
So it's kind of like becoming fluent in a new language.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, it's about understanding the language of cinema, all the tools filmmakers use to draw us into their stories and make us feel those emotions.
Okay, so let's break this down.
Sounds good.
What are some of these techniques?
Well, let's start with cinematography.
Okay, so cinematography, I always think of that as the art of how a movie is visually captured.
That's a good way to think about it, yeah.
It's incredible how just changing the camera angle or the lighting can completely change the mood of a scene.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've even heard about how certain shot types can create psychological effects on the audience.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. For example, a high angle shot.
Okay.
Where the camera's looking down on a character that instantly gives you a sense of vulnerability, maybe even weakness.
Oh, okay.
But then you take a low-angle shot where you're looking up at a character.
Oh.
Suddenly, they see really powerful, imposing even.
Wow. That's so subtle but effective.
Right.
It really is all about visual storytelling.
Exactly.
Now, there's editing, which I'll admit I don't fully understand.
Oh, yeah. Editing is key.
I know it involves putting all the shots together, but what makes it so powerful?
Well, it's all about crafting the flow, the rhythm of the story. Like the pace of the cuts can build suspense.
Oh, right.
Create a sense of urgency or even evoke a feeling of peacefulness.
Okay.
And don't forget about the transitions between scenes.
The transition.
Yeah, like a slow fade can leave you feeling thoughtful.
Yeah.
While a hard cut can be jarring, kind of wakes you up to the next moment.
Oh, okay.
It's all very carefully planned.
That makes a lot of sense. I've always loved those montage scenes that speed up time.
A montage.
Yeah, like in Rocky where you see him training and getting stronger.
Yeah, great example. So a montage is basically a specific editing technique where a bunch of short shots are used to condense time. It's often set to music too, and it can be used to show the passage of time or a character's development or even to just build emotional intensity.
So that's the trick behind it.
Yep.
Okay, and then there's sound and music, which honestly sometimes can be even more powerful than the visuals themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
I still get chills every time I hear that theme from Jaws.
Oh, yeah. The Jaws theme is iconic. Music is like a secret weapon for filmmakers.
Uh-huh.
It can amplify emotions, make a happy scene euphoric or a tense scene almost unbearable.
Right, right.
A soaring score during a heroic moment can bring tears to your eyes, while a dissonant melody can send shivers down your spine.
I totally get that.
And don't underestimate the power of sound effects.
Oh, yeah, the sound effects are important.
They add those extra layers of realism and atmosphere, really make a scene come alive.
So it's amazing how all these elements, the visuals, the editing, the sound, they work together like an orchestra to tell a story and pull you in.
Exactly. They all play a crucial role.
Yeah. But movies aren't just about technique, are they? There's this whole world of genres.
Oh, yeah, the genres.
Each with its own style and appeal.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Genres are fascinating because they offer something for everyone. They tap into different emotions and interests.
Right.
From action-packed thrillers to laugh-out-loud comedies. Each genre has its own conventions and tropes that audiences have come to expect.
I love how some films kind of play with genre, like they blend elements to create something totally new.
Oh, yeah, I love those.
It's like they're breaking the rules, but in a really cool way.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think those hybrid films are becoming more common?
Definitely. It's all about pushing those boundaries and finding fresh ways to tell stories.
Yeah.
Genres are constantly evolving, they influence each other, and that keeps things interesting for filmmakers and audiences.
That's so true.
But we can't forget about the people behind the camera either.
Oh, the directors.
The directors, yeah, with their unique visions, they play a huge role in shaping the films we see.
Absolutely. Some directors have such a distinct style that you can instantly recognize their work.
Oh, 100%.
Speaking of iconic directors, let's talk about some of the masters who've left their mark on cinema.
Oh, there are so many to choose from.
Who are some of your favorites?
Well, let's start with Alfred Hitchcock.
Hitchcock.
The master of suspense. His films, like Psycho and Rear Window, are still just as captivating today as they were decades ago.
Oh, yeah. He was a master at building that tension, using clever camera angles and editing to keep audiences on the edge of their seats.
Oh, for sure.
I love Hitchcock Psycho totally freaked me out the first time I saw it.
Oh, it's a classic.
But I couldn't look away.
That's the sign of a good movie.
Do you think his films were tapping into something deeper, though, beyond just the scares?
Absolutely. Hitchcock's films often explore those themes of voyeurism, guilt, and paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
He was a master at manipulating our emotions and playing with our expectations.
Yeah.
His impact on the thriller genre is undeniable.
For sure. Okay, so we talked about Hitchcock and his masterful suspense, but there are so many other, incredible directors out there.
Oh, tons.
Who else, pops into your head when you think of the cinematic giants?
Well, you can't talk about influential directors without mentioning Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done it all from heartwarming adventures like E.T. to those edge-of-your-seat thrillers like Jaws, and even powerful historical dramas like Schindler's List.
Yeah, he really does it all.
It's incredible how he manages to blend that spectacle and entertainment with genuinely moving storytelling.
Yeah. I love how Spielberg can make you care so deeply about his characters, even in a film like Jaws, where, the shark is the main attraction.
Right.
It's also, the master of the blockbuster. Didn't he practically invent the summer blockbuster as we know it?
He definitely had a huge impact on how those big-budget, special effects-driven films are made. He just understands how to create those moments that just stay with you long after you've seen the movie.
Totally.
But let's move on to someone completely different. Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, Tarantino.
The king of cool. His films like Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill, they're instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
With that sharp dialogue, the nonlinear storylines, and that genre-bending style.
Oh, I love Tarantino. He's such an original, and his films are so stylish and energetic. It's
Yeah,
like he's constantly referencing other movies, but somehow creates something totally new.
he does.
What do you think it is about his style that makes him so unique?
Well, Tarantino's a true film buff. He clearly loves cinema, and that passion just comes through in his work. You know, he's not afraid to break the rules, to play with time and structure, and to create these, like, over-the-top, yet strangely compelling characters.
Right.
And he's also a master of dialogue. Like, he writes those lines that are so quotable and memorable.
It's like he creates his own universe with each film.
He does.
And you can't help but get sucked in.
It's true.
So we've talked about suspense with Hitchcock, blockbuster entertainment with Spielberg, and now Tarantino's unique style. Who else should we add to this list of directing legends?
Well, we can't leave out Martin Scorsese.
Scorsese.
He's a master of those gritty, character-driven stories that explore those darker sides of humanity. You know,
Yeah.
films like Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, and The Irishman.
No, those are classics.
They delve into these themes of morality, redemption, and the complexities of the human condition.
Yeah, his work can be intense and thought-provoking,
Are you sure?
but it's always captivating.
It is.
Scorsese's films definitely stay with you. He has a way of creating these flawed, often troubled characters that you can't help but feel for, even when they're making questionable choices, you know?
I know what you mean.
There's a rawness and honesty in his work that's hard to find elsewhere.
Definitely.
It's mind-blowing to think about the impact these directors have had, not just on cinema, but on, like, culture as a whole.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Their work continues to inspire and influence filmmakers even today.
100%.
But let's shift gears for a minute and talk about something that's constantly evolving in film: special effects.
Ah, yes, the magic that brings the impossible to life.
Right.
From the early days of cinema, filmmakers have been pushing the boundaries of what's visually possible, constantly innovating and experimenting with new techniques to just wow audiences,
Yeah.
you know?
It all started with those ingenious practical effects, right?
Yeah, the practical effects.
Like the miniature models and stop-motion animation used to create the original King Kong back in 1933.
Oh, yeah, King Kong.
Can you imagine the patience and skill it must have taken to bring that giant ape to life?
It's truly remarkable what those early pioneers accomplished with such limited technology.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
They were like inventing techniques as they went along, figuring out how to create illusions that were both convincing and captivating.
Yeah.
Their ingenuity paved the way for the incredible advancements that would follow.
And then came the CGI revolution.
Oh, yeah, CGI.
Movies like Jurassic Park and Avatar completely changed the game,
They did.
using computer-generated imagery to create these breathtakingly realistic dinosaurs, alien landscapes, and so much more.
It was a game changer.
It was.
CGI opened up a whole world of possibilities for filmmakers, allowing them to create anything they could imagine.
Right.
Suddenly, there were no limits to what could be put on screen.
Yeah, and it's not just about creating fantastical creatures or worlds.
Right.
CGI can also be used to enhance realism, to create subtle effects that would be impossible to achieve practically.
Exactly.
It's amazing how seamlessly CGI can blend with live-action footage.
It really is.
Sometimes you don't even realize you're watching something created on a computer.
That's the goal.
And then there's motion capture technology,
Motion capture.
which allows actors to portray characters like Gollum in The Lord of the Rings and Thanos in The Avengers with such incredible realism.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's like digital puppetry.
Exactly. Motion capture has revolutionized character animation. It allows actors to embody these non-human characters, bringing a level of emotional depth and nuance that wouldn't be possible otherwise.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. It's fascinating to think about how far special effects have come and where they might go next.
Yeah. Where do you think they'll go next?
Well, I'm really intrigued by the potential of virtual reality and augmented reality in filmmaking.
VR and AR in film.
Yeah, VR has already been used to create immersive experiences, but I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible. You know,
Yeah.
imagine a film where you're not just watching the story, but actually experiencing it from within the world itself.
Wow, that would be amazing.
And AR could also change how we watch movies, allowing us to interact with characters and objects on screen.
So cool.
The lines between film and video games are definitely blurring.
For sure. But beyond special effects, the way we consume movies is also changing.
Oh, absolutely.
It's hard to talk about the future of film without addressing the impact of streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus.
You're right. Streaming services have totally revolutionized how we watch movies.
Yeah.
It's so convenient to have access to a massive library of films at your fingertips, available anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Do you think this is ultimately a good thing for cinema, though?
It's definitely a double-edged sword. On the one hand, streaming services have democratized access to filmmaking. It's easier than ever for people to discover independent films, foreign films, and documentaries that they might never have seen otherwise.
That's true.
And they've also given opportunities to filmmakers who might not have gotten funding through traditional channels.
So it's been good for some filmmakers.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do wonder what it means for the future of movie theaters. Will they become obsolete?
It's a valid concern. The theatrical experience has always been special. That shared experience of watching a film on the big screen with an audience.
Right.
But streaming services offer a different kind of intimacy, allowing you to watch films in the comfort of your own home at your own pace.
Yeah, I get that.
It'll be interesting to see how these two models coexist and evolve in the future.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
It will.
It feels like we're at like a pivotal moment in the history of film where technology and changing viewing habits are reshaping the entire landscape.
We are. It's an exciting time.
It is exciting, but beyond all the advancements and changes, there's something timeless about the power of movies to connect with us on an emotional level,
Absolutely. That's what truly makes cinema so special. It's a global language, a way for us to share stories, explore different perspectives, and feel a whole range of emotions.
Yeah.
Whether it's a heartwarming comedy, a thought-provoking drama, or a visually stunning spectacle, movies have the power to transport us, to make us think, and to remind us of our shared humanity.
Yeah, it's incredible to think about, how movies have evolved from those early silent films to the immersive experiences we have today.
It is. It really is.
But, it's not just about the technology or the special effects.
Right.
It's about the stories, the characters, and the emotions that movies can evoke in us.
Exactly. Movies have this unique power to connect with us on a really personal level. They can make us laugh, cry, think, and even question our own perspectives.
I couldn't agree more. I've had so many moments where a movie has stayed with me long after I've seen it,
Oh, me too.
And it prompts me to reflect on my own life or see the world in a new way.
Yeah, it's like those stories become a part of us.
They really do. And I think the more we understand about the art of filmmaking, the more we can appreciate the craft and the intention behind those powerful moments.
Oh, for sure.
It's like you're unlocking a secret code.
Right.
Once you understand how a director uses framing, lighting, editing, and music to create a mood or convey a message,
Yeah.
you start to see the film in a whole new light.
Absolutely. It's like realizing that every shot, every cut, every musical cue is there for a reason.
Exactly.
It makes you a more active and engaged viewer.
Speaking of engaging with movies, I've always been fascinated by how different cultures approach filmmaking.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about Hollywood, but there's a whole world of cinema out there waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely. Hollywood has had a huge impact globally, but it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Bollywood, for example.
Oh, Bollywood.
With its vibrant colors, elaborate dance sequences, and melodramatic storylines, offers a totally different cinematic experience.
It's amazing how Bollywood films manage to be both entertaining and thought-provoking, often tackling social issues and cultural norms in a way that's engaging, and accessible,
They do a great job of that.
And then you have the incredible world of Japanese anime.
Ah, anime, yes.
With its stunning animation, fantastical stories, and complex characters.
Anime is a great example of how a specific style of filmmaking can capture the imaginations of audiences worldwide.
Yeah.
It's proof that great storytelling can transcend cultural boundaries.
Absolutely. And we can't forget about the rise of South Korean cinema.
Well, South Korean cinema is on fire right now.
It is, with films like Parasite winning major awards and gaining international acclaim.
Yeah, Parasite was huge.
There's like a boldness and originality to Korean filmmaking that's really exciting.
I agree.
It's wonderful to see how cinema from different parts of the world is gaining more recognition and appreciation. It just shows that there are so many amazing stories out there waiting to be told and so many unique voices waiting to be heard.
That's the beauty of cinema.
But as much as we've explored the world of cinema, I think the most important takeaway is how movies impact us as individuals.
I agree. At the end of the day, it's those personal connections that matter most.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of movies, we want to leave you with a final thought.
Okay.
Think about the films that have had the most profound impact on your life.
Yeah, what was it about those stories, those characters, or those visuals that resonated with you?
Maybe it was a particular scene, a line of dialogue, or a piece of music that really moved you.
Whatever it was, take a moment to reflect on those films and what they mean to you.
And maybe, just maybe, this deep dive has inspired you to watch those films again with a fresh perspective.
That would be awesome.
To notice the artistry and the craft that went into creating those moments that touched your heart.
I love that.
Keep exploring the world of cinema. Keep discovering new stories, and keep letting those movies transport you to new and exciting places.
Because that's the magic of movies, isn't it?
It is.
They have the power to stay with us long after the credits roll, to spark our imaginations, and to remind us of the beauty and the complexity of the human experience.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of film. We hope you enjoyed the deep dive.